Unlike my past videos, this one is not a tutorial. I just wanted to show you the power of Zbrush to pull off faster concept designs using one of my older tutorials, roughing out your base mesh in Zbrush. In that tutorial, I showed you how you can make a rough version of your desired model using only a few sphere meshes. But sometimes it's okay to be lazier than that and use parts of other meshes to help you with your concepting. What you see here is a very rough and ugly model I made from pieces of pre-made poser animal models. Because all the parts were from animals already, it was easy to chop and drop to make this ugly thing. Because you are just concepting, you can use any parts from any model. You can find tons of free models on the net to use for your designs. You can even spend hours and hours making your own library of 3D meshes. I mean, who needs friends, right? Anyway, the body was from a dog model, the head from a lion model, the legs are all just copies of the lion model's hind legs, and the tail is from a horse model. Once I had all my parts, I had to make sure that there were no 2-point polygons or polygons with more than 4 points. I also had to get rid of any stray points and make sure that the model was symmetrical too. And it helps to cap off any holes in the mesh, especially at the joints where you originally cut the pieces. Once that was done, I brought it into Zbrush and moved and sculpted the mesh, so I managed to get this weird animal. I made a quick render and exported it out. It didn't really matter that there were seams because they could easily be painted out later. I brought this into Artweaver and I smeared out the seams. I used Artweaver because I'm too lazy to open Photoshop. And yes, I prefer to smear than paint when it comes to artwork. Don't ask me why, it's just a personal preference. I then spent the next few hours to create this. A real pro probably would have taken less than an hour to make something like this, but I'm freaking slow. Now, I consider this a pretty crappy piece of art, because I have the artistic skills of a 5-year-old. Okay, a very talented 5-year-old, but a 5-year-old nonetheless. But I can tell you that if I didn't have my rough 3D concept to work from, this would have been crappier still. Using this technique, can you imagine what a proper artist could do? When you're working in 3D, the last thing you want to do is to slow down your brain by worrying about getting things like edge flow and correct mesh continuity right. The key thing is to try to be as lazy as you can while keeping those creative juices flowing. That's what I love about Zbrush. You have a natural way of handling meshes that's fun, even just when you're playing around with it when you're bored. Anyway, before I go, here's another mesh I made a while ago. I started off with a few boxes, yes, just plain boxes, and using my magic super mega sexy technique, I managed to get this. If I had time, and I was bothered, I could have easily exported this guy into Lightwave, made some refinements, added some mesh parts, etc, until I had a nicely detailed half-man, half-horse warrior. If you just keep swapping meshes between Zbrush and your native 3D program, you can be more precise with your concepts. Well, I think I've kissed my own butt enough. Have fun and be lazy to get some awesome artwork done. Cheers!